In October, I was very excited for this project.
We kicked off the documentary project by doing an outdoor movie night with a whole bunch of experts. And that was really interesting because we've never had a senior trip, so that was kind of the first event we've had as a grade outside of school.
When the documentary project launched, I think I was mostly focused on what the groups would be.
At first I was terrified, especially since we were doing small groups.
Well, I remember doing a lot of brainstorming with my group to start, and we had tons and tons and tons of ideas.
We were doing the systems map. I helped brainstorm concepts. I really loved the systems thinking process.
When we were creating this, we had lots of different concepts in our systems map to connect. It was actually really enjoyable to sort of think of as many possible ways that sustainability and individual lifestyles are connected to all these different things, transportation, big corporations. And the systems map was a good way to just tie all those things that we've learned about over the past 6 years and bring them together. We made a Google slide with all of our ideas and presented it to a filmmaker who gave us some feedback afterwards and sort of helped backpack some of our ideas.
When we were doing interviews, I was the interviewer. Me and Sage were. I did a lot of research on the people we were interviewing, a lot of coming up with questions that suited them.
I was an interviewer with another one of my group mates, and we mainly focused on coming up with interview questions for each of our interviewees at UMass and in Boston.
Well, I personally helped get the camera equipment ready. I also helped set up one of the boxes of cameras, although I don't know if we used it or not. Additionally, one thing I personally did was dug up an old 500 gig hard drive and threw it in my portable laptop so that I could use it to store bulk footage, which came in kind of handy.
For field work, I think we went to Boston one day down by the harbor. That was really cool. That's where we had our interview with Rebecca Shewer.
I was surprised to see that the people that we interviewed were actually very helpful for our documentary idea, because we have a very specific question that we're trying to answer, and we were worried that a lot of the people that we were going to talk to weren't going to be able to talk about the points that we would want them to talk about, but you know, they were able to, and we have a lot of really good interviews.
The highlights of my group, I would say, is going to UMass. I feel like we got a lot of good information. We had a lot of fun. We had some good food.
Our film has evolved a lot. I think through filming, some of us, I kind of forgot what we were making a film about, so then when it came to putting it all together, the storyline was a lot different than it was in our initial plan, but I think I like it a lot better.
I'm just glad that we finally came up with a concrete topic and were able to even put together something as simple as a script.
I really enjoyed the script making actually, and being able to kind of be the brain behind the creative process in the documentary, because while I was writing the script, and Caitlin also, she was my partner in crime when we were writing the scripts, and we came up with a lot of the B-roll ideas and attached it to the script, so that whole process was really fun for me.
Well, a lot of it's just been looking for, finding, and then cutting out pieces of B-roll, because a lot of our B-roll is from long pieces of footage, news and stuff. And yeah, that's been by far the most. The thing I spend the most time on has just been finding B-roll, putting it in, cutting it, getting it lined up, occasionally replacing some because it's not as good. Yeah.
I'm using an app called Procreate to animate my section of the film. For this animation, I'm having a polluted earth. It has carbon pollution from cities, boats, planes, and it's just a sad earth with gray, ugly clouds. My animation's role is basically just showing how we need to reverse the clock and becoming a healthy planet, which has a more sustainable future.
For all the documentaries, we used this setup, this Scrum setup, to help organize each step of the way. We had all kinds of different tasks that we needed to get done, and we put them in the not started, and at the beginning of every class we would all come out here and talk about how we could complete our tasks and how we wanted to approach the problems and the jams in the system that we were experiencing. You could see everything. We made lists of everything that had to get done, and you could visually see them being completed, and it made it a lot easier to like divvy up tasks.
It feels like I've made a portion of a documentary, which is strange. I don't know if in previous years everybody felt like, oh, the documentary project, that's where I got practice being an interviewer. I feel like I had practice making a documentary, which was something.
I mean, I think I've learned a lot. I think there's more people out there trying to help the climate and help the world than we realize, which is really, it gives me hope.
I've learned that I take a lot of work. I put a lot of work onto myself, and I have a hard time relinquishing that work and giving it to other people because I have such a specific vision in my head, and I really want to accomplish that. And I worry that other people like won't necessarily get the same vision that I have.
I think my expectations were pretty high, they were pretty set, but when you're working in a group, you have to be really open to different ideas. And with smaller groups, like that was a little bit easier because our groups weren't as different, but still being open-minded to your visions changing is really important.
I think I've learned from this entire process that it is very important to work together no matter what you do, because I think each of our individual jobs feed into each other throughout the entire documentary making process, and so you have to communicate with your teammates a lot.
I feel like I know everyone so much better, and I trust them. Like, with all these creative decisions, I've always kind of been a person where like I have an idea and I want that idea achieved, but working with other people, we all have different ideas, but now I trust everyone else's ideas more than I trust mine.
I'm just proud overall of how coherent and complex our documentary is so far. I think Isaac did a really good job with the rough, but I think we also have a lot of footage and stuff to work with, which is also good.
I haven't seen the whole thing like culminating to one movie yet, so I'm excited to see when that happens.
Everything felt like a hurdle until there just weren't any, and it was pure adrenaline and this shared joy of we can get this across the finish line.
I've been really looking forward to this project, and I'm really excited to see the path of them.